I'm incredibly proud of our football team. I thought they played with great effort and great passion tonight, just determination to win. We had our backs to the wall several times, particularly on defense. I thought we really bowed our backs and did a nice job several times. The blocked punt in the first half, to get out of that with just 3 was tremendous. And the offense did a great job in the second half coming out and getting that score to take the lead right away, and we were able to hold it. So that's an incredibly well-coached football team, a talented football team, disciplined football team that we played tonight. Temple they've got a great football program. Matt and his staff, I really admire the job that he's done, and we knew it was going to be a challenge and a battle. And that's just why I'm so proud of these guys and how well we played tonight against what I know is a very good football team.
We're going to go with players, and then Coach will come back to for questions. Yep. Yep.
Right up there, guys. For Andy.
Step right up here, Andy. Yep.
121 yards rushing. Talk about the job that the offensive line did today.
The offensive line did excellent. They made holes for me all night. Couldn't be more proud of them. I owe all those yards to them, really.
Could you imagine a game like this for yourself, like win like this, first game as a football?
Yes, I could imagine that. We worked so hard in the off season. Every day, all the guys, offense, defense, they worked their butts off, and I couldn't give them more than.
Andy, you were playing against a team with 2 very big defensive tackles. How did you handle that? What did the blocking do to provide some openings for you?
Well, first off, I want to give props to Temple. They played an outstanding game, especially on defense. Our offensive line, like I said, they just worked hard every play. They moved those defensive tackles and made holes for me. So that's how they did it.
Were you surprised how dominant you guys were up front getting against their run defense?
I'm not surprised. Our offensive line works their butts off every day, and they come to work, and I'm not surprised really. They do their job, and that's all I say.
Andy, talk about the confidence that you guys were getting as the game went along. You were able to put together long drives and move the chains and all that. Talk about how you were feeling as a unit as far as your confidence is concerned.
Our confidence mostly came from, like you said, first downs. The defense played a huge role. Getting those picks, those were huge. And those really boosted the offense to go out there and take advantage of that field position. So I'm going to say that interceptions were probably the best in our defensive part.
Jeremy, can you just talk about what it feels like to sing the album on this field after the win?
Yeah, I mean, it's big for us because if you don't know, we were here last year with Navy and we had a tough loss with them, so we were in the same stadium. And it just feels really good to start the season off right. I mean, all our work that we've done in the offseason is paying off so far. I mean, this is just the first game. We got 11 more to go. So we have a lot of work ahead of us and a lot of good teams ahead of us.
This for Ahmad. The Temple defense is anything that surprised you? You guys obviously had an effective day-to-day offensively. Anything surprise you out there?
I guess the speed that they played with was really good, and how disciplined they were. There was times where the guys were playing quarterback and they stayed with me the whole time, even when I didn't have the ball. So how disciplined they were really surprising.
A lot of close losses last year, a lot of frustration with that. This year you come out, you start the season, close game. Not only did you win, but you were able to put the exclamation point on at the end by pulling away. Talk about how important that is to win one of those games that you did not win last year, frankly.
Yeah, one of our biggest goals is to finish no matter what and don't flinch. So to put a stamp on it felt great, and that's meaningful for us.
Mike, you were getting outside, especially to Jordan Asbury on a bunch of plays. How did you feel? Were you more confident doing your pitch plays tonight? That was Shimon, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Your pitch plays getting the ball outside. You were getting the ball outside today and making good plays to Jordan. What was that like for you?
It felt just like practice. Me and Jordan and a bunch of the slots worked hard during practice and after practice, and it was all time and playing. It felt.
Any questions for Mike?
Mike, just looked like the offensive line was really gaining confidence as the game was progressing, especially in the second half. How did you feel once your running game was really starting to be effective?
I mean, Coach Davis and Coach Bodie really helped us with the scheme, and we worked our butts off this week, getting down, getting on our blacks, everything like that, and being able to see the chains move down the field, watching Asbury, Ahmad, Davidson, watching them all keep getting yards after the play. We were really confident watching them run away with the ball, and it was awesome to see.
How do you feel when you're making those third down conversions, a couple of those fourth down conversions in key spots?
Oh, it felt amazing on being able to finish our drives and being able to power through some adversity on fourth down and third down, come down to third and short. I mean, we practice those all the time, and being able to finally execute that in the game was awesome.
One final one for Jeremy. Jeremy, can you just describe the emotion of the locker room after this win? Was it the most happiest you've been as a player?
I mean, a win's always good. It's hard to win in college football, especially. I mean, we've had so much rough patches throughout the past. I mean, hopefully it's a turnaround for us, and our program's going in the right direction. Coaches are working hard on us, players are working hard, and like I said, we got a long road ahead of us. So this is just the beginning, game one, but it does feel good.
Back to the right guys.
Even though we heard from Andy, can you talk about the tandem with Davidson and Wolfhook today, just their productivity and how effective you saw them today?
I was really proud of the way they ran. They ran so hard. They ran with their pads down and really just with power and some determination, because there were a lot of times they were getting hit. You saw it, right at the line of scrimmage, yard or two down, and they ran through some arm tackles and just ran behind their pads and did a great job. And Andy was a great addition for us at B-back to move over from linebacker. He's one of our best football players, and I'm glad we made that move with him.
Great. And talk about Ahmad's decision-making running the option this season.
So they lined up in a defense entirely different from what we've practiced for the last 3 weeks to prepare for that. So when they came out in that 4-3 defense, they had lined up in that some against Navy a couple of years ago, and it was kind of a change-up for them. But that's what they settled into. We expect them to be an 8-man front, and they weren't. And so really we kind of developed the game plan as we went. A lot of the same things we practiced. And the great thing about this offense is we didn't have to run new plays, but we blocked them a little bit differently, particularly on the perimeter. And Ahmad did a nice job because he really had a lot of poise. He didn't panic when they got some different techniques, which they did on the front, and handled it well, and got us checked into the right play. And I'm really proud of him, just proud of his ability to lead our football team.
Can you talk about the dominance of the O-line tonight and the way you were against Temple?
Oh, I don't know if we dominated. That's an awfully strong word. I thought they had a really good plan against us, and it was tough sledding. It wasn't like we were ripping off 20-yard runs. We were getting it bit by bit and getting into third and short and fourth and short. And Phil Snow's a great football coach. I've worked with him. I was a GA under him in the spring of 1992, and I have so much respect for him as a coach. They had a really good plan, and one of the things that we want to try to stay out of is negative yardage plays, and they got us in some. They knocked us back, sacked us a couple of times, but just in the run game, knocked us back. And so they were tough to block. They were tough to move out of there, and I was really, really proud of our offensive line for just digging their cleats in and staying with it and playing with the techniques and the fundamentals that they're taught, because in the end, that's going to get you the best results, and the guys did a nice job.
Coach, big win over Temple today, you guys. How does this basically set the tone for the rest of the season? Temple won the bowl game last year, but you guys play Rice next week. Is there any mentality shift between the two teams?
We can't compare teams. Their team is different from a year ago, and our team's different from a year ago, and they got a lot of guys back, and we do too. They got a really good football team. That football team's going to win a lot of football games. I know that. Matt's an outstanding coach, and when you get to the program to the level that they have, they don't lack any confidence in that locker room. They're going to go win some football games, and that's credit to him, his staff, his players, and they built something here that's pretty special, and they have the confidence to win. And so, our guys, I think we're so different because we're a team that took a bunch of young guys that played a year ago, many of whom were freshmen, now sophomores, and just came close a bunch of times. We won a lot of football games. We just came close, and even though we didn't win those, I think it gave our guys the confidence to realize, you know what, we're that close, and we get one more stop on defense, we get one more score on offense, and we got a chance to change our fortunes in those games. And so I think our team's playing much more confident, or at least they did tonight. I just feel that, as we've practiced and gone through the off season and the preseason camp. But it's a measuring stick when you play a team that won 10 football games, won a bowl game, played for the conference championship, was ranked in the top 15 in the country. I believe at one point, you can correct me on that, I'm not sure if I think they were up to 14 or 15 or something like that. And but I know a top 25 team, that's a huge win for us.
Coach, I apologize if you answered this already, but they stayed on the field for your alma mater. Have other teams other than Navy do that?
Yeah, we've had several teams that have done that, and I think it's a great tradition, and certainly a great just great way to show respect to the other team and the other institution. And when it comes right down to it, it's a game, and we're playing a sporting event representing each of our universities and all of our graduates and the fans that are out there. And sportsmanship's important, and because it's a sport, it's not anything but that. And when you can play a hard-fought game like we did and show respect for your opponent and the other school, what's better than that?
Coach, because of the frustrating losses last year that you mentioned, could this be a game that you point to and say, this is where we learned how to win? Because you came up with key plays on both sides of the ball, key times in the fourth quarter.
I think you learn how to win over time. And it's one win, it's one game, and you take them one at a time. Because we beat a good football team tonight, Coach Bailiff from Rice and I aren't going to have a conversation later this week and say, hey, well, we beat this team that won 10 games last year. You give us a head start, we get 7 free points. We have to go earn it. Rice is a team that's beaten us the last 2 years in a row. They are a good football team, and David Bailiff's one of the best football coaches in the country. He'll have his team prepared. So we figured out how to win tonight, and we got to figure out how to win next week.
Coach, just going to ask you, we talked before about how big the offensive line was at Temple, and your front on defense was able to handle that, but you're also, your secondary was making big plays. I think that play Brandon Jackson made, preventing a touchdown in the end zone.
He made a really good play down there on our sideline late in the game. We had several nice breakups. It was great to see the linebackers get in front of some of those balls. They had the long throw right there in the waning minutes of the game where they threw it in front of our corner. We didn't have the underneath coverage on the long third down. Maybe it was a fourth down, and converted, and we came right back and got a pick. I mean, we just got some guys in some places where they could make some plays, and they were a huge offensive line, huge. And it's tough to penetrate those guys when they're that big. And the pressure we were getting was coming off the edge. We weren't getting much down the middle. And when a 320-pound guy gets a hold of a 250-pound guy, it's a pretty good mismatch.
And how are you going to take this win to rally into your next game, and what do you think your team needs to be able to achieve that W in the future?
I'm sorry, would you repeat the question, please?
Gladly. I said, how are you going to take this win and be able to project that to your next team to be able to win who you're competing against next? What do you think your team needs to do to be able to continue in this advantageous winning run?
There will be a lot of things that we'll watch on film tonight that are going to frustrate us. And we're going to say, gosh, we got to do those things a lot better if we're going to beat Rice and if we're going to improve as a football team. And we'll try to recognize those things. And I think every team does it. Every coach does that. Takes things from the previous game and is able to give some criticism, say, hey, here's where we got to get better, and we're going to find some of those things, but we're going to see a lot of things we did well, and be able to point to a lot of things and break those plays out and show them to our team, our players, and say, look, we got to continue to do these things on this call or this play, and we'll continue to have success. So winning and losing are both habits. So hopefully this will get us into the winning habit.